Hello, and welcome to Equipment and Care, a module of your instructor training. Today's agenda includes Mannequin, the Decontamination brand, AED Pads and Troubleshooting, student materials for all classes, and bag valve mask and pocket mask for C-Pro. Safety guidelines for Mannequin use during your class. Students should not eat, chew gum, or drink while using the Mannequin. Ensure students have gloves on when they are touching the Mannequin for each other. And each time the student uses the Mannequin, they should use their own face shield or breathing barrier. If students are sharing Mannequins, properly decontaminate the Mannequin between users, even when breathing barriers are used. Students should not use any Mannequin that has cracked or rips in the face. Notify logistics staff of any equipment problems or issues. Decontamination guidelines. To protect you and our students, gloves should always be worn when decontaminating and assembling Mannequins. Guidance on decontamination can be found on Instructor's Corner under Additional Resources. Solutions and/or wipes for Mannequin decontamination will be provided by the Red Cross. Contact your logistics staff for additional supplies. For most Mannequin types, Clorox disinfectant wipes or alcohol wipes can be used. Here is a screenshot of Instructor's Corner where you can find Mannequin decontamination in use. You'll click on First Aid CPR and then click on Additional Resources and find Mannequin decontamination in use. Decontamination after a class. Instructors should properly decontaminate and store Mannequins after each class. This should be done as soon as possible after the class is ended. Instructors should always dispose of airways and replace airways according to Mannequin guidelines. Instructors should wipe Mannequins down completely with an approved cleaning solution after each class. You may contact your logistics staff for additional guidance and supplies. Mannequins with removable faces. Each student would receive their own face. Removable faces are always decontaminated by washing and soaking in a bleach solution or using a bleach or alcohol wipe to clean the surface. We have several different Mannequin brands. We have Laridol, which includes Little Annie, Baby Ann, Little Junior. We have a press stand Mannequin, which there's an adult and a baby. We have Actar, which we have adult and baby. With the Laridol Mannequins, the Little N and Little Junior, they have separate faces, and you should give each student a face. They have one-way valve lungs, which means that you can use them for several different students, but they should be replaced after each class. Faces should be washed and soaked in a bleach solution for 10 minutes or use Clorox alcohol wipes. For Baby Ann, each student should receive a separate face and an individual lung bag that should be used for each student. These lung bags do not have a one-way valve and thus cannot be shared. To decontaminate the Baby Ann, you want to separate the jaw, the face, and the airway. Dispose of the airway, wash the jaw and the face, either by soaking in the bleach solution for 10 minutes or use your alcohol or Clorox wipe. The press stand Mannequin cannot be shared. Now, best practice is to have these Mannequins assembled before the students arrive. Each student should have their own Mannequin, and the line should be changed after each student. It is not a one-way valve, and thus the line cannot be shared. Mannequins would then be broken down, wiped down after each student, and at the end of the class, they should be wiped down again with a Clorox or alcohol wipe before storage. The Actar mannequins cannot be shared as well. A best practice with them is to assemble the mannequins before class. Adult mannequins are decontaminated with Clorox or alcohol wipes. Make sure you wipe down the chest plate, the head, and the face. Lungs are disposed of after each class and each person, because these mannequins cannot be shared. Actar infant heads must be cleaned by washing and soaking the entire head in a water solution for 10 minutes. Also, Actar 911 cannot be used for our CPR for professional course. Mannequin usage. Class time is based on a 2-to-1 mannequin ratio, according to your instructor's manual. Fortunately, in most areas, we have enough mannequins to have a 1-to-1 ratio. Let's talk about our automated external defibrillator, or AED. We should have 2 students to each 1 AED. There should be adult and pediatric pads in the AED pouch. You should have extra batteries on hand, and make sure you know how to change the batteries in advance. AED Pads. You should use AED Pads when you teach the Red Cross skill session. You should use the adult one because we do not simulate a pediatric AED skill. AED Pads can be reused until they're dirty or have trouble speaking. Think about, would I want to use them or not? If they don't look really good, it's time to get new ones. Have the students reattach the pads to the white sheet they removed the pads from at the beginning of the segment. AED Troubleshooting. Not every AED has to function. Identify one lead AED that is functioning. A best practice is for you to have the lead AED. Students follow the directions of the lead AED without turning on their own AED. Students can plug in the connector and even push the shock button, but you have the lead AED. There is a video segment on Instructor's Corner if you'd like to review AED troubleshooting. Babysitter training. All students should receive a package with personal protective equipment called a PPE. All PPE supplies should be disposed of in the trash after each class. We don't reuse or save anything. Students should use gloves every time they're touching the mannequin or each other. Students should be issued a babysitter handbook, an emergency reference guide, and a CD-ROM. And students will keep their materials after this class. We don't library them so the students can take them home. Babysitter tubs with materials and supplies will be provided for each class. Student materials for your first aid CPR AED basic classes. All students should receive a package with the personal protective equipment, or PPE. Students should have gloves on every time they're touching the mannequin or each other. All PPE supplies should be disposed of in the trash after each class. Do not reuse or save anything. All students should receive an adult first aid CPR AED ready reference card. If the pediatric component is being taught, the ready reference card should also be issued to the student. Ready reference cards are collected up after each class and returned to the inventory or library stock. Student material for the CPR for the professional rescuer. We issue each student an adult and pediatric mask because it's required to be given to each student. These masks will be taken home by the students at the end of the class. Students should be given a CPR for professional rescuer handbook during the class, but these handbooks are collected after the class and returned to the inventory or library stock. Students in the CPR for professional rescuer also use bag valve masks, or a BVM. A BVM is used during the CPR for the professional rescuer and emergency medical response forces. You should have 2 students to 1 BVM. You also should have pediatric and adult and child BVMs because they should be available for a student. If you need additional BVMs or are having issues with the BVMs, please contact your logistics staff. I'd like to thank you today for listening to Equipment and Care, and for your continued support of the American Red Cross.